Good afternoon, everybody. This is Joni with Paperback Exchange Bookstore, 6412 Ridge Road in lovely Port Richey, Florida. And we are honored today to be able to talk to one of our local authors. She's not exactly local to us, but she's got family in the area, so we call her local. It is author Rina Brown. Rina, welcome.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I am doing fine. You look well. Looks like you got all your hair cut off.
Oh yeah. It gets so hot, especially summer here in Colorado. And I always donate mine. So, I always like scaring the poor hairdressers where I'll go in with about a foot and a half of hair, and they'll go, yeah, we're chopping it all off. And they just look at me like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, I'm sure.
You want to pick the one with the hair chopping fetish, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So she's got quite a few books here that we carry in our store. We have The Isle of the Dark.
I was like,
novel, right? Ooh, look at
yeah.
that. We also have, you did a blurb before you did your first big book with Tales of the Weird and Strange.
Yep.
You have a small book. Now, is this part of the Isle of Dark series?
It is, yeah. It falls in between the first and the second one, so it's kind of like a little in-betweener. Yeah,
Stuff that you forgot that you wanted to include?
No, it was actually a Christmas present. Yeah. No, it was actually a Christmas present because when I did my first one, there was 100 people who bought, the copy the first day. So, and I had record of all those people. So it was a Christmas present to them for, being there for my first launch. So, but now I just sell them for everybody after the fact. So, it's just a fun little in between for it's their version of like Christmas kind of.
Very nice for that to be your fans. And then your most recent, Acceptance in Ice.
Absolutely. More snow themes. Yes.
And I did notice here, let's see if I can pull this up now. We're going to get ready here for my
right.
Let's see here. Let's see. I'm going to share this screen. I think this is the one that I want to share.
Technology. You're never sure what exactly it's going to do.
Well, I got rid of anything that would get us in trouble in the back.
Right. I was gonna say there's a very particular reason why I like books.
Yes, they're much easier to handle than these electronics. So this is Rina's site. This is the RinaBrownAuthor.com site. You got your newest book up, of course.
Oh yeah.
All of that good stuff. Now, what I noticed here is you've got some artwork that you sold along with some of your stuff. Now, is this something that you did? You did some special, let's see, if you go shopping, exclusive artwork.
Here. Yeah, or you could click that link that where it says get yours now. It shows kind of the listing of all of them.
Because you're going to make it easy for us to see it. There you go. So you're sold out of those, but you sold some artwork along with it, with your books too. That's pretty cool. Now, did you do that artwork, or was that by your illustrator?
It was by my illustrator. Yes. I unfortunately do not have an artistic bone in my body. So, and no, I have two artists. I have my cover artist Damien, who did the latest cover for the Isle of the Dark series, and then I have my design artist. Her name is Harmony. You can find her on Garbage Ham Sandwich on Instagram. She is my main artist, so she hand drew all of these posters using pens and special markers, and she took still frames of scenes from the book, and they're one of a kind exclusives. Like once they're gone, you can't get any more. But she also did all these. Now let's see how my balancing act is. I'm wearing one of her shirt designs right now.
So did she do the stickers on Redbubble and things like that too?
Yes, she did. Yep. So
because you can also get some of Rina's artwork right there on Redbubble. So if you don't know what Redbubble is the place where artists can put their artwork up, and then we can purchase it in any form. So you've got t-shirts and stickers available, but they could actually, this artwork could be put on literally anything that Redbubble
Anything.
sells. So hats,
My
shirts, cups, flags.
they've now started a new line of pet belongings and pet clothes, so you can do like pet bandanas or pet beds. I thought that was kind of funny. But my absolute favorite is the shower curtain. I don't know why, but that is just so funny.
That is really cool because you know what? We watch all of those makeover shows, and somebody just took a shower curtain in one of those makeover shows and stretched it over a frame and put it on the wall and called it art, and they got like won the whole thing for it. So yeah, that's
Wow.
pretty cool that they can do that. But they got the shower curtain. Yeah, I guess
Shower,
that's
yeah.
nice, you know. Step behind the aisle of the dark, you know, watch
Like,
the
hey,
winter scene.
what,
Where they
why
take a
why
shower.
go and get a plain white shower curtain when you can have, like some fun art designs plastered up? Yeah, exactly.
So for folks that don't know the storyline, we've got a gentleman in here that is our hero by the name, he is a guardian by the name of Ranger. And his sidekick, I've forgotten his name, this gentleman.
Is Isle.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
And then they are trying to save the world from the Datsos, right? The Datso virus, the plague.
The plague, yes.
And so that's where we get introduced to all of that survival and fantasy and all of that. How it
The
changes,
first time
how
that
it
they
changes
meet.
the world, right?
Right, yeah.
And then this is your in between, right?
In between
Is there
for
any kind of
special
a
Christmas.
plot? There's some little bit of plot stuff in here, so you gotta have
There's
that.
a little bit of plot, more it's between more of their relationship because Ranger and Isle, they meet in the first one and they kind of create this unlikely partnership that eventually turns into friendship. And the short novelette it kind of expands more on their friendship and now how kind of their lives are changing now that they are partners and they work together, as compared to in the beginning of the book when Ranger originally worked alone and Isle lived alone and fended for himself. So,
And then this is the second entry of their saga.
yes.
So what was the hardest part? Getting this one done first or trying to figure out what to include in this?
Oh,
So
see,
you had a lot of leftover stuff from this. So maybe that made this one easier?
just a little bit, I would say so. Because the first one, because when I think of Ranger and Isle, now, having the story and having two of the books now, for me, Ranger and Isle are together. They're partners, they're father and son, so for that first one, it was really fun bringing the two of them together. But the second one, I actually got to have that father-son relationship with them, and how they interact with each other, and how they live together. Which just comes far more naturally to write with them rather than in the first one, when they were trying to figure it all out. So no, but I have like the whole series planned out. So it's like I knew what I wanted, but there is definitely some stuff that fell over into the second book. The second book, I would say, has a lot more lore. There's a lot more, like, you get to see more of the world building, you get a lot more of their history, so everything of that sort.
So basically you've been writing since you came out of the womb?
Almost.
You started very young. You are
Yeah.
young. I'm not saying you're young because I'm not against that. I'm for it. But you started writing when you were like 11 or 12?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had done a couple of small writing projects beforehand. Like I had taken a class on like how to write a book, but really all they did was just take, whatever you put together and they stuck it in this little spiral binding and like sent it home for the parents, you
Right,
know.
right.
No, but it was around middle school when I was about 12 or 13 that I actually took my real first writing class. And you know, he was the teacher at the time, you know, because that class constantly switched teachers. So I actually got multiple different educators who taught us different aspects of writing. You know, and which was really great because you got to see different people's perspectives and different teachers' approaches to how to teach someone creative writing. And I took
Right,
it
that's a very
every
positive
single
way
year.
to look at that too. That's what they weren't just jerking you around; they were giving you a lot of different ways and a lot of different ideals
Exactly.
as far as how to be a good writer. That's great.
Right. So, but I started Isle of the Dark my junior year. Ironically, the only year that I didn't take a creative writing class.
Because you were already creatively writing.
My addiction had to be satisfied. I just had to write something, even though I wasn't in a school class for it anymore.
So you're doing a great job promoting your books. I've looked up on your page. Let's see. Let's find this again. Um, you've got your Redbubble here, but you've also got, you know, you're doing all kinds of stuff on your Instagram page. You're reaching out to your readers on your personal page and adding, you know, packages and bundles and artwork and things like that. So you're doing a great job, but what do you find that has been, you know, for any other person young like yourself that is really thinking about sitting down and writing a book, what is the most difficult thing that you found as far as making sure not only that it got written properly, that's a given, that's going to happen, but how do you get it out there? How do you get people to your book? And how do you build up this great audience that you've built?
Well, I will tell you that every little aspect is a completely different ball game, because you know when you're walking into it, because when I first walked into it, you know, because I had finished the manuscript for Isle of the Dark right out of high school, you know, and my first thought process was, well, I'm just going to kick it on Amazon, and you know, people can buy it as like an ebook, you know, and just kind of have it be a first work kind of a thing, right?
Right.
um well, when when I actually met my first publisher, my traditional publisher, um, and then I got, you know, my first wave of books and, you know, had to build to sell everything. Everything's a little bit different. I would say that the hardest part is honestly keeping track of everything. Um, when writing the book, yes, it is imperative that you go back through and you make sure that it is edited. You know, I am very fortunate. I have a wonderful team on my side. My mom actually went back to school and she learned how to professionally edit. So she is my first draft editor to
Great.
help me you know, weed out like, no, this doesn't make sense, or hey, you need a colon here, or you know, that kind of thing. um and then we have, you know, the traditional beta readers and such after the fact. um
But they're more looking at content, right?
exactly,
Making sure
yeah,
everything
plot
flows
holes
properly.
and exactly, if something doesn't fit right, you know, inconsistencies, that kind of thing. um but running everything else, you know, I always tell people, because you know, I meet people who are aspiring writers, and you know, they ask me, you know, they're like, well, what did you do for this, you know, and I tell them, I have to figure it out as I go. um Even with calling bookstores, you know, because that's one of the big things that I do that I don't think a lot of other independent authors do, is I reach out to independent bookstores just by cold calling. I just call them and say, hey, do you have an author program? Yes, great. Would you be willing to take somebody random from Colorado? Excellent.
Now we got you.
So
That's how we got you.
right, exactly. You know, and it's a grueling process because only 1 in 10 generally say yes. So the, you know, the ratio, the farther you are away from home, gets a lot harder.
You have to
um
not let the rejection stop you or get you down.
exactly.
Because you're going to
So
get it.
I would say a lot of it needs to be motivation. You know, like, you know, you're not going to want to do it every day, you're not going to want to do it every week, but you still need to sit down and do it. And make sure that you have a system where you're tracking everything. I still kind of struggle with that. I'm OCD, but I don't write things down the way I'm supposed to. So then I go, oh, what bookstore was I supposed to call today?
Right, and you've
And
got
have to go like,
you've got all your
yeah.
bookstores listed here, which is awesome. And I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm like, hey, I can see us. And I'm like, that's because we were one of the first. We're down here at the bottom.
No, I was gonna say there you are.
Here
Oh,
we are. But yeah, you've got your book in all of these. So these basically, um, besides the ones that are in your hometown in Colorado, these were all cold calls at the beginning, right? You
yep,
just
yeah.
called these
Well,
and then you did your little book tour. How long were you out running around the country doing that?
I think in total we were out on the road for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. We split it up between June and July, but overall travel time, I think it was about 3 full weeks or 4 full weeks, because we had gone to Kansas first, and that was about a week journey out there, staying for a couple days, coming back because we drove there. And then we went down to Florida when we came down to see you, and we held a couple of signings there.
A couple of
And then
stops here.
right when my hair used to be long, yeah, I actually have a couple of bookstores that I'm visiting this coming weekend, and now it's like I'll have fresh pictures, except I have no hair now.
Well, I sure do enjoy looking here on the book tour pictures. That was really nice. But I'm just showing you, like you said, there's so much to do and keeping track of it. We've got the .com. You're dealing and you're building all this yourself. I'm sure you're getting help from folks around you, but really, I mean, you're doing all this yourself.
Yeah.
You've got your Instagram page. I don't want to overwhelm you here, but you've got your Amazon. Now, I don't see Isle of Dark on here, but it's available on Amazon, right?
Yeah, sometimes they list together, sometimes they don't, and Amazon is its own animal. I can't.
And then you've got your Redbubble stuff with your artwork too. So it's quite the juggling act. It's just not a matter of sitting down and writing a book, and unless you have enough fame that you can hire all of this out. I think you're doing a wonderful job, and I know how hard it is to keep track of that stuff. They have all these little programs that you can put on your phone that say, get a message here, then you can answer it here, and it goes here, and it's difficult, and it is definitely a juggling act. So
it is.
So bully to you for having all of this to do, and then sitting down and writing. Now you've got your 2 books. Now, have you started your 3rd one yet?
Maybe.
Thinking about
Well, there's the third one for the Isle of the Dark series. I have like the outline for it, but I have not started the first draft. But my personal goal is to probably have that one out, not this Christmas, but next year's Christmas is probably when I'm going to release that one. And then but right now I do have another completed manuscript that is titled Sinner, and completely different world, completely different story.
not part of the Isle of the Dark series.
No, it's a completely different kit and caboodle. What
genre?
It's still fantasy, but it is more like modern fantasy rather than medieval fantasy.
Have you ever heard of the genre metafiction?
I have not, no.
I found it the other day. It was a Richard Keismar. He writes with Stephen King. It was a memoir, but it also had a serial killer story wrapped into it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd never heard of that genre. So you've got a little bit of real stories and fiction together. I guess that would be
interesting.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
But this is young adult fantasy, would you call this?
Yep.
That's the audience we're looking for. And we've sold many copies of this so far. And I hope they reached out and did some good reviews for you, because the folks that have read it have really enjoyed it a lot.
Oh, thank you. Um,
So your next one not out until next Christmas.
for
So
the
you'll be
Eye
out
of the
on
Dark
another book
series.
tour, hawking your Acceptance and Ice, right?
Exactly. Yeah, no, the third one will probably not come out until next year, but we are working on that manuscript for the new one right now. And we are going to try and because my first two are primarily self-published. I had a publisher for the first one, but he specialized in self-publishing. And then but we're going to take my new one and we're going to kind of like football throw it at publishers and see kind of what happens.
Pick Colleen
So we're
Baker's brain, would you? Find out what she thinks. Because I mean,
right.
her used books are as expensive as her new ones. I don't
Wow.
know. She's independently published. She's independently written. And she's blowing up on TikTok. So let's try to get you blown up on TikTok a little bit. We just started playing around with it, so it's I'm an old AV geek from high school, so it's so easy to make content. So we've got a video here that I saw. Let's see, where did I see it? Let's do a share screen and pull it up. On your shop, you've got a speed drawing.
Oh.
That was pretty cool. And this is from Damien Aviles.
Yep. He was the cover artist for Isle of Winternox, the short novelette, and then he was also my cover artist for Acceptance in Ice.
That's just a
and I had no idea he did this. He had been sending me like progress shots, and so I had no idea he had put together a video. And it's kind of funny because in that first couple of seconds of sketches, you can see just Ranger and just the Datso behind him. But then when you hop over, or when it jumps ahead a couple of seconds, you can see him add Isle after the fact. But he sent this to me after he finished the cover. And I was like, I didn't even know you could do stuff like this.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And I've seen a couple of authors too that they'll create a little, like a trailer for their book.
Right.
On the CapCut like that. Those are really helpful too. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck with your manuscript that's finished. You're in the editing stage of that, right?
Yes, I am.
Second or third time?
More along the lines of 4 or 5, I think. I wrote this one about the same time that I wrote the first Isle of the Dark book. So the Sinner manuscript is actually as old as the first Isle of the Dark book, but Isle of the Dark was it's my baby. So I've invested a lot more time, and I really wanted the second one to be released for the 2-year anniversary. So we kind of set Sinner aside and we focused on Acceptance and Ice. But I mean, so every summer for the last like 2 or 3 years, we come back to Sinner and we like fix the whole thing up, and we're like, okay, and, it's looking better now. And then we come back, and we're like, oh, this could be changed. This could probably be fixed. We could probably edit this.
Have you found, since it's an older manuscript, that things become less relevant, and you change that and you make it more relevant to the times that are happening now?
Yeah.
So it's a new story every time.
Right, exactly. Well, and my writing style has changed. It's kind of funny because the Cinder manuscript, it had a completely different like plot in the middle. And I actually ended up, the first time we went through, I ended up cutting it all out and rewriting the complete middle of the book. And then the third time we went through, we had to do a lot of fixes and changes. Still had to pull out a chapter and put a new one in. And now that we're reading it back this time, it's like, okay, we know that the story is good from start to finish, but we still need to go through and make sure there's like not any inconsistencies and grammatical errors and that to that effect.
Still a young adult novel, or what's
yes.
Are you gonna give us any little gumdrop of what we should expect out of Sinner?
Well, Sinner is probably going to be 18 plus, because is a little bit more adult than my Isle of the Dark series. But the Sinner story follows your main character Demo, who is a demon that is allowed to live in heaven. He is a teenager, and suddenly he is chosen to be a fight against demon agent, which is like these holy protectors. And kind of shenanigans ensue from there. You know, there's a lot of prejudice that hangs over his head because of what he is. And nobody believes that he can do it, because how could a demon fight other demons, you know? So, and there is a deep, deep secret that the angelic court is hiding that could very well threaten the existence of the entire world. So there's also that looming in the background.
Intrigued, intrigued. Interesting. Very, very good. We like it. We like it. So it'll be a little bit more, because you're a little bit older, right?
Yeah.
You've got a couple more years under your belt now. So you can write
Right.
some more interest, you know.
Yeah.
Some
I'm
not
21
interesting, but,
now.
you know, a little bit more adult content.
Yeah. I was gonna say I'm 21 now. You know, it's that age where, you know, everything becomes adult and shiny, you know, apart from 18, you know.
Enjoy it now while you can. We decided Sunday we decided we weren't going to discuss all of our upcoming doctor's appointments all day long. So
Oh.
we're getting older. But thank you so much, and thank you for reaching out to us and writing these great books for the young adult series. Looking forward to seeing Sinner, and looking forward to actually finishing Acceptance.
Right. Well, thank you so much for having me. And I just wanted to let people know that there is a special promotion that I have on my Redbubble right now. There is a art design called Barry the Flying Datso. He is limited time. He's only around for 3 weeks. He was first created for my book tour last year, when I was touring around the United States for my first tour. But because I am actually, yep, there he is there. But because I am actually touring again this coming week, I'm going to be on the road for the next 5 days. We have brought him back for a shiny 3 weeks. So he is
So
but you got to get him before he
limited edition
disappears.
sticker of the Datso.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
So and then yeah, but if you guys want to follow the journey, like she has up on there, you can follow me primarily on Instagram. I have everything there. And thank you so much for letting me come on and being able to see you and talk to you again.
Thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure. And remember, everybody, you can get copies here at the shop. We have signed copies. You can go to Amazon. You can go to RitaBrownAuthor.com and get them with all the extra artwork that she's got. I don't
Who's
think
it's
the
in
extra right
gadgets
now, but maybe after a few months, you'll have some acceptance and artwork. But thank you so much, and sleep less, read more, and please, everybody, wash your hands. Thank you.
Thank you.